Okay, good afternoon everyone. Of course now it's after lunch, so if you fall asleep, I will not wake you up. Okay, but during I think tea break, right? Yeah, the tea break I will wake you up to make sure that you got still have a portion of the coffee and tea. Right. So topic about realistic AI beyond the hype cycle. Is AI hype? Because some people are hype, but maybe 4 years ago people thought it's a hype, but now it's real. Okay, I don't think it's a hype. Right? If any one of you thinks they are hype, I think you need to reset or reboot yourself because it's real, it's coming in front of us. So if you don't take it, then somebody else will take it, and we'll be left behind by the fast train. Okay, so this one is like maybe like Shinkansen is 350 km per hour, AI maybe is 2000 km per hour. Okay, the speed is super fast. Right? What you learned yesterday may be obsolete next week. Okay, so it's coming. And of course, you heard about some of the daunting fact. Daunting fact means something that scary, right? That people will think like, would my job still around next week? Not next month, next week. Because why? Oh, I heard so many betting about how AI take over my position, including my boss position. Okay, hopefully my boss position taken first before me, right? You pray hard, okay? But the reality is that AI is better than not better than normal ordinary human being, except that they don't have emotion, they don't have attitude, right? So you can score AI still executing your work, and then before you go home you execute a prompt or the LLM running until tomorrow morning. They can work 24/7. Human will do show the tantrum, show attitude, right? MC also cow to the max, everything. Many issue. AI no issue, right? So of course now the message is that should I be worried? A little bit, right? But if you know about how to overcome AI, nothing to worry at all. Actually, it's an opportunity. Okay, so hopefully you my sharing will enlighten you about how can we tame the AI. Okay, and of course I think the story that I think you heard about, typically one good agentic AI can easily replace 25 programmer. So if your company got 50 programmers only to survive, how about the 48? Who are the two? You and your boss are. The 48 gone, right? Is that true? Let's see. Because what happened is that when you go into the this type of mode, there are many things that you need to prepare. Okay, it's not that overnight, boss, tomorrow let's subscribe to this agentic AI that can do this wonder. And then the following week, Monday, we ask 48 people to stay at home. No such thing, right? Because the reality is that many preparation. Many getting readiness into embracing AI. Alright, so before I begin, how many of you here have attended our event? Because this is 14 event, the 14. How many of you have attended 7 of our event? Don't need to be consecutive year, but 7 times? No? Only 1 person? 5? 5 of BITAS event? Cannot be. I see so many familiar persons. Oh, you forgot. 5 or 50. Okay? 2? Many, 2 remember. Beyond 3, my mathematics don't know, never use anymore. But actually, I think some of you already attended more than that. Okay, let's begin on the topic. So let's rewind a little bit, right? I think if you know about the computerization, right? We are talking about client server like 20 years ago, right? Every seminars must talk about this, okay, computerization. Then after that, we talk about digitalization, transformation. Right? So any presentation of any topic, don't touch these two so-called relevant topics. Your boss guarantee will not let you attend the topic, right? I believe all of you got permission to attend this topic because you tell boss, I will learn about AI. I said, go learn. Okay? Try to pick up something and implement it tomorrow. Okay, so that's your boss expectation, right? Today Wednesday, right? So tomorrow you need to implement Thursday. Okay? And of course now talking about AI, right? So AI is there everywhere. So what I'm trying to highlight is that I'm not discussing about the so-called traditional AI or Gen AI. This is considered productivity tool, right? I believe all of you already exposed to Copilot, ChatGPT, and Gemini, etc. So I'm not discussing about this, but what I'm discussing is about agentic AI, right? How can now I use AI for my organization, for my business, right? Not for me as to be productive, but for the organization, right? So of course there are many things that we need to know to get ready into adopting agentic AI. And agentic AI is only about 3 months old, 4 months old. right? It's I think sometime announced in March, right? But the take up by storm, and many organizations are trying to get ready to the adopting this agentic AI. These two are very easy. You can just subscribe by now. You can just type in your phone, in your Office 365, Outlook, etc. All available. So I'm talking about now enterprise AI. Yeah. Right. So I think before that, let me introduce the concept of the ITABOK. Right. So ITABOK has introduced the concept called IBAM. Okay, so ITABOK is actually, ITABOK was a version, the older version of the BITABOK. Now it's called BITABOK. Okay, starting 2 years ago. IASA rebrand the whole IT architecture body of knowledge as the BITABOK, Business Technology Architecture Body of Knowledge. So before you can embrace into like adopting the AI use cases, you need to know about the context. Okay, so IASA give us the context. The first one called the word called IBAM. So the first one called I mean, before you start anything, right, you need to imagine digital customer, digital citizen. So if you are a so-called government agency, you need to think about digital citizen. But if you're a corporation, you need to think about digital customer. What does it mean? If you talk digital customer, 24/7, right? You cannot say, sorry, now we are 5:30, we close. Can you come back tomorrow or come back on Monday? No such thing in the digital customer. Huh? So the expectation is 24/7. Right, and no public holiday, and the customer need to be able to do self-service. They can do whatever they like, put the order, cancel the order, change the order. Everything is digital customer lah. Okay, as you know, everything is like the customer empowered to execute the transaction themselves. In order for us to deliver digital customer, digital business, what do? We have no choice. Our business also need to be digital, right? So if the government, digital government, business, digital business. So what does it mean? My business also cannot close, right? But our people don't work in the 3 shift. We work from 8:30 to 5 or 9 to 6, right? So how can we deliver a digital customer if our business not digital? So we need to now to think through about our business need to open 24/7, 7 days without public holiday, right? So in order for us to serve digital customer, we need to have digital business. What is the next one? A chief digital employee. So the hybrid between human and AI, right? So there will be some sort of the coexistence between what the actual staff, human, and the AI, right? Of course, the human need to control the AI, not the other way around. Human control the AI. So there will be a time that the AI cannot resolve the issue, they will escalate to human, right? By workflow, by email, by WhatsApp, etc. Ask us to intersect, right? But most 99% of the tasks will be executed by the AI. Right? So this is the concept on the IBM. And what's the M? M mean maximize digital operation. So maximize digital operation mean you always not happy as what you are today. You want to be better. Okay? This is the word maximize. When you stop, you will never stop. It's the same thing concept of enterprise architecture, right? So this IBM is a very, very good concept. And you see on the right hand side, the IBM is happening at the corner. Also have the implication, right? So sometimes the innovation or people be creative or execute tasks when they have no other choice, right? When you're in the corner, mean you have no other way to escape. Either you survive or you game over, right? So the IBM is a very good framework, and of course they got all the icon there. Actually, is the canvas. So IASA already developed multiple canvas template for us to execute the IBM. Yeah. Of course, the concept is that about digital advantage. So they got the domain of architects, they got the business architect, information architect, software architect, infrastructure and solution architect, right? Okay, so this is a so-called the concept of how do you execute IBM, right? Actually using a SCA. SCA means a structured canvas approach. So IASA introduced the architecture canvas, I think was 2-3 years ago, and I think last year we have already started delivering the whole program across Asia. I think the feedback was very, very fantastic because they said now with the canvas, I can do easy socialization. I can also get the management buy-in. I can present my architecture is to the non-architects. Okay, without the canvas, you can still present architecture, but those your target audience at least need to be trained in TOGAF, in other architecture method, right? So my boss will not attend. How I'm going to present the architecture? So canvas is the way for us to describe the architecture in the layman term, and everything is in one page, because one canvas is one page. Okay, so the concept is something called the journey, right? The architect have the journey, capture the requirement. After that, create the strategy, brainstorm the solution idea, and after that, of course, you capture the customer requirement, get the management support, design the system. After that, you go describe the architecture and execute, and it continues the cycle. It's like similar with TOGAF, but this is the IASA way of using an architecture life cycle, using a canvas. Yeah, and of course, these are example of the canvas. That basically the canvas allow you to view and visualize the architecture that you are trying to get the buy-in, trying to socialize in one page. Okay, but behind the scene is still connectedness, still a relationship that you need to preserve. Okay, still using the TOGAF and Archimate concept behind the scene. But this is like the front stage and the back stage of the restaurant. When you go to the front stage, basically you get a nice room like this. You got the nice dining table, you got the menu. But the back stage is the kitchen. Okay, the kitchen is still architecture as usual. Business is still cooking. Architects still doing a cooking, right? Preparing the dish, cut the meat, cut vegetable before you serve on the table, right? But in the past, we don't have the presentation on the front stage. Okay, because sometimes we bring the customer to the kitchen. After that, the customer what happened? Oh, the kitchen so dirty. I moved to another restaurant. They get the better layout, better ambience of the restaurant. Okay. So the concept behind the scene are all interconnected. The canvas there isn't any standalone canvas. And one of the reasons why we want to use canvas is that because we all lazy doing documentation. Am I right? Do you feel guilty about this? Always, right? We can execute, we can write everything, but boss, document, can you get someone else to document? Okay? Even you promise to your boss, can I document after you sign off? The system working, right? I promise after you sign off next week, I will spend time to document, right? Then what happened after next week? Your boss said, Aaron, can you go to the other project? Hey boss, document said, never mind, I'll get somebody else to do. And at the end, multiple projects. So what happened? Become the architecture dead, right? The system live, but no documentation. When you want to troubleshoot, you want to change, 10 edges, right? I think you know the consequences, right? And of course, the next one, facilitation. How can we bring multiple input about my proposal, my target architecture? Okay, using a canvas, so I can bring in more people. And of course, connecting canvas. So one canvas, if people ask, hey, how about next year? Hey, let me tell you, this is the next canvas, right? So IASA came out around 100 canvases, right, to execute the architecture end to end, yeah. And of course, driving innovation, right? When you stare at the one slide for a few minutes or few hours, suddenly you start imagining something, right? You know, concept IBM, imagine digital customer, become digital business, achieve digital employee. So all the idea, it will spark during the facilitation. And of course, all the canvas have the format, right? The format is still following the standard like a TOGAF and Archimate behind the scene. Yeah. Okay. So this is the TOGAF 10. I believe some of you already went through the TOGAF 9. So TOGAF 10 is more on the agile and also digital approach, right? So in the TOGAF 10 itself, already started there that architecture to support AI strategy. They don't call it AI strategy, but a strategy. But you know, AI also needs a strategy, right? You cannot just adopt AI like that. So architecture to support the AI roadmap for change, right? Because later you see that the most challenging part on the AI is on the people side, not on the technology side. The technology side is everywhere, easily available, right? You don't know about how to program certain LLM. There got so many free courses, right? You don't need to pay attend the course of AI. Even Harvard also providing that, right? NVIDIA got so many courses, Microsoft got so many courses. Everybody providing many free courses on the AI, right? As long as you are willing to learn, you can pick it up. You don't need to spend any money. Yeah. And of course, after architecture to support strategy, architecture also need to support portfolio, right? About all AI portfolio, about multi-phase, multi-project, and support a cross-functional discipline. Yeah. So strategy typically going through horizontal. And of course, now the issue in many organizations is that strategy team cannot visualize and cannot see or cannot trace where the strategy is being executed at this point. But with the architecture, we are able to visualize and see where my strategy is. Right? What are the projects executing my strategy? Which are the division or which are the technology stack that executing my strategy? Right? So you go through the portfolio. Then the next one AI to support project. Okay, in today's context is that the project we do architecture inside the project, but here it says that you execute the AI project, right, to support development of AI project development cycle. So architecture to support project, and of course, last but not least, is because of the continuous improvement. Remember the concept of the maximize digital operation, right? So AI to support AI solution delivery, and of course maintenance. So architecture need to do so-called end-to-end, not only about the concept, about strategy, development, as well as go live. Okay, so this are so-called taken from Gartner. Typically is that if I want to start AI the project, what should I do? Okay, so Gartner developed 7 pillars, and this document actually available at gartner.com in the webinar, so you can download the article and can watch the video. So basically, Gartner tell you that they got 7 pillars that you need to look at. Okay, so the way that they arrange the pillars is that the left hand side, when it is at maturity level 1. So as you go to the right, you hit maturity level 5. Okay, so for a start, you look between the first two column. Okay, don't go into the right hand side first. Because why? Unless you're already expert lah. But let me tell you today, 3 months into the rolling out, I don't see anybody even at the last 2 on the right hand side. Everybody's still at the first 1-2 block. Okay, because why? This is talking about enterprise AI, but agentic AI. So it's just a beginning. So typically, you need to look at the defining the AI vision and defining the target AI maturity, and look at the external trend and initiate the AI strategy, right? So typically, in the strategy part, you are hovering at the first 2 line. Okay. Of course, you can see on the right hand side, establish process to refine AI strategy. This is where maybe next year. Okay. For some of us who already embraced, can look at the right hand side lah. Now we look at the first 2 to be realistic. Okay. And then of course, when you talk about AI value, you prioritize the initial AI use cases, define value for initial AI use cases, and run some AI pilot, right? Because why? We need to show to the management the value and what is the outcome or the benefit can be realized. Yeah. Then we look at the AI organization, right? So is there any set up AI community or practice internally, from across discipline, across organization, and appoint AI leader? So basically, it's champion. Who's going to champion this, right? So these are typically the recommendation. Of course, the right hand side is where you have set up process to manage AI partnership. So basically, you can onboarding. So they one on the right hand side. Then of course, got AI people, AI governance, and AI engineering, right? So typically, this can be used as a guide, right? Where should I start, right? So these 7 pillars you don't ignore, right? Because it's very, very important, especially the AI governance. Right, talking about AI or ethics, AI policy, etc. is very, very important, right? You know that if we fail in IT project, none of us go to jail. Am I right? Anyone of you in and out jail, prison, Kajang prison, because IT project fail? Nobody. We all walk away free. But if you fail in the AI policy, AI ethics, we might not in jail, because consisting about intellectual property data of your organization, right? An interesting part, I attended one of the seminars, is that you may be compliant with Malaysia law, but when you deliver your product services to another country, you better know the AI ethic policy governance in that country, right? It cannot be ignorant, because you may be jailed in the country. You can walk freely in Malaysia, you go to the country, you'll be arrested. Okay, so it's quite complex. So when you try to deploy your product services about AI, you need to know the governance and rule policy in that country of your target customer. Okay, so there are things that we need to know, right? It cannot be ignorant. Unless say, tak apa, kita buatan Malaysia untuk Malaysia. Okay, it's okay. You just follow Malaysian rule. But when you go out, better know. Yeah. And of course, the last part I think is something that are quite critical. Among the 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can set up. The 7 is the nightmare. Why? The data is everywhere, and most of the data, what happen? Stay in where? In here, or in your boss head, or in your subordinate head. How can I extract this? Because the AI need input. AI is not just engine, right? You need to train. Okay, when you train, you need to train and guide the AI the right path. Yeah, the right information. Because without that, like the blind lead the blind. AI can be very intelligent, but you cannot tame the AI, you cannot control the AI. The AI cannot find the right information, and so garbage in, garbage out lah. Yeah, so this is very very critical that many of the organizations don't have this last part, right? The data readiness, because the data is in the people laptop, right? The one in the database is just the storage, but the one that in the laptop is more valuable. And how can you download that, right? So part of the exercise is that you can use the so-called the EA practice. How we can basically map the entire data, where the data being created, who update the data, by what application, etc. So that the AI later can do a lookup. Yeah. Of course, now I will the rest of the session is that I will guide you through on the 5 steps. How can we so-called establish AI ready organization, right? The first one is that assess AI readiness index. Okay, so basically they got the tool, right? Later I will splash the so-called the QR code, but I'm not going to do that because it will take about easily 20 minutes for you to fill up. But you can fill it up later. Okay, it's the publicly available to get the feel in terms of your AI readiness organization, right? Then after that, you develop AI strategic AI integration plan, build AI ready architecture, implement AI ethic governance, and foster collaboration and upskill about the people. Okay, so let's go through the first one. So this one is the AI Singapore develop the AI readiness index, right? So basically they got the pillars of the organization readiness, ethics and governance, business value, data readiness, and infrastructure readiness. So we need to get ready in all that. And you know that the infrastructure, right? Most of our laptop today, if you bought the laptop last year, likelihood is obsolete, not AI ready laptop, including your server. Our store is about 200 times faster, the server. So it's quite scary. Almost all the things that you have purchased last year need to be replaced, right? So all these are something that we need to get ready upfront. Not say after you implement, like that, I need to ask another budget. So the readiness means tell you upfront what will happen, right? Like anyone attended the marriage preparation class, or you just get married. I think you just discover along the way, right? If you discover marriage preparation class, then you know what to do lah. You got conflict, whatever, right, with the spouses. Otherwise, you see what happened lah in the society. So same thing like AI, right? So we need to get ready and know what will happen when we embrace it. Then of course they got the QR code. You can take a photo there, but yeah, anyway you get the slide and you can view it next time lah, not now. Yeah. Okay. Of course they got the index awareness depending on the where you are, right? So this morning we did the round table. I think as most of us are in the AI aware, and some are the AI ready, right? Mean I'm ready to start because I've been preparing for 6 months. Right? You cannot get ready in the just few days or few weeks. You need to think through just not the 7 pillars. Okay? And of course, the next one is develop a strategic AI integration plan, right? So one, you know your readiness index. So how do I start, right? First thing first, you need to know whether you have a business architecture. You know what the practice on the business architecture. Okay? Because according to Gartner, right, we need to leverage BA to build AI capability model. Okay, so no shortcut. Because unlikely you can just buy the tool unless you do R&D lah. You do R&D for fun can, but when you want to implement organization wide, you need to know about your business architecture. Okay. Then of course the next one is on to develop AI strategic plan. We need to make sure that got investment ROI, right? We need to measure our ROI. We need to know our use cases deliver business value outcome, right? Not technology value outcome, but business value outcome. And of course, we need to know about new AI capability, right? You know the capability will impact the people, the business, and also the technology stack, right? And of course, technology also need money. The people need to reskill, upskill, retrain, and the business need to do change management. many things. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on into the number 3, build AI ready architecture, right? Of course, this is the definition of the enterprise architecture. This is by Gartner. So it's the process of translating business vision and strategy into enterprise change. Enterprise change basically is transformation. And also we need to be able to manage the evolution. Especially when we go through the so-called the AI, the rapid development, the rapid technology change, we really need to basically keep track. Okay, we need to know what happened tomorrow, right? We need to do some industry research and you need to anticipate things will change. But of course we can say, hey, if this is the case, I want to wait until it's stable. No, it will never get stable. right? Now the rapid chain is getting shorter and shorter. Last time the rapid chain maybe every 1 year, 6 months. Now it's almost every day. Okay, so the message here is basically saying that, you know, if your organization seldom change, you don't need EA. Firstly, secondly, you don't even need to work there. Why you want to work in an organization that never change? My boss also got nothing to do. Every day watching Korean drama. Then you stay there happy, worry, right? So enterprise architecture is when you have a rapid change. Okay, and of course the context is that I need some guidance when the change take place, so that not become chaotic, not become panic. Yeah, that's the concept of the enterprise architecture. Okay, so of course now, how can we get our organization ready? What is typically execution take place during the AI adoption? This is from IASA. IASA come up with the word future casting. Remember just the word imagine? Imagine digital customer, digital business, digital employee, and maximize operation, right? So future casting basically the ability to collect the signal. Where do you get the signal? From the news, from the conference like this, from your community, from the website. So you need to be able to collect the signal, and after that digest the signal, contextualize to your organization, and after that predict and go along with the signal. Don't go against the current. That's the message. Not everybody embracing AI. You cannot say, boss, can we postpone the AI adoption to next year? They say, no, immediate, right? But you need to have some sort of a framework. This is the framework of IBM, future casting. Anyone heard about this? This is taught in the typical high level of the management school, right? Future casting it's not something new, but it's something that we need to think, because why? We are going to do evolutionary in terms of our business, our people, our technology. So I need to be able to do future casting. Once you define the future, what will happen? Next one, you need to unbundling your current structure, right? Unbundling the people, unbundling the business, unbundling the technology. How do we do that? We need to know the component inside. If you don't know the component inside, how to unbundle? Like this car, you want to unbundle the car, you pick up the wrong component, you unbundle the gearbox, that's it, the car not moving. You unbundle the wheel, wrong, not moving. You unbundle slowly, what are the things? Then wheel are critical, but when can I unbundling the wheel? You know, unbundling the wheel means I take out, I replace with a better wheel, right? You get the concept? Interesting? That's the concept in the BITAS idea, right? That it's amazing the way they think through this future casting and unbundling. No choice. And of course, to do unbundling, if you don't have architecture, no way you can do unbundling. What to this matter? You don't even have the blueprint. Which process I want to unbundle? Ask the boss. Your boss may be working for 30 years. Your boss said, the department, that one when I was younger, before I get married. You ask me the department, I don't know. No, half of the people, I don't know. How to unbundle? Right? So basically, it's the most impossible if you think. Right? We don't have the right hand side the pictures. This one you can imagine, that one cannot. So basically, don't work if you don't have architecture. And of course, the concept of the TOGAF, right? How do we model the TOGAF? Is that TOGAF framework, this is TOGAF 10. I think if you notice, they remove the arrow, so no more waterfall, and everything about agile and digital. Okay, so the concept is that we need to set up the AI goals and strategy, capability, and use cases. So this is basically at the TOGAF percent A and half of the B, right? Understand about stakeholders. Okay, then after that we go into the business architecture. We want to know the capability impacted, right? We want to know the business gaps, information gaps, right? The change management that we need to run. Okay, then the next one we need to know about our application, about our technology, as well as the information that flow within that impacted area, right? So this is something that just now talking about unbundling. I need to know this component in my organization. Nobody knows about this, right? You think like your boss work long enough, they know? They might not know. They have on top of their head, but roughly. But you cannot give the immediate answer, yeah. And of course, how you execute the project, right? So how does this work? So how this works is that basically we need to adapt the TOGAF into the AI use cases, AI development. So in the preliminary, basically what you do, you establish AI governance board, right? then you identify relevant stakeholders and define new AI capability that you're going to develop. Then in the phase A, you identify stakeholder concern, right, for all AI use cases, and then identify problem statement, identify a strategy, right, and then of course look at how the architecture itself can shape the fusion, the vision of organization. They call it AI vision. Then after that, you go into the business architecture, you identify all the gaps that need to change, right? You need to know which one that you need to be unbundled. Okay, that's the word. Okay, if you don't know unbundling, you unbundle the wrong one, game over. Project fail. Okay, but it's still safe, The project fail, none of us will go to the Kajang prison. Okay, still safe, but no good for our record, So we need to make sure which one we need to unbundle, and also we need to know which one I need to unbundle in my information and application, right? Especially removing shadow system, shadow data, etc. And also technology, right? So we need to know this. And of course, when you go into the E, we need to consolidate all the gap to make it AI portfolio. Remember just now the so-called the one of the framework TOGAF is that EA to support strategy and portfolio is taking place in the phase E, right? And then support project is taking place at the migration planning, all the project resources, etc. As well as the execution of the project. So this is where the execution take place when you implement the AI solution. Yeah. And last but not least is on the change management, basically architecture to support solution delivery, basically continuous improvement. Yeah, so all this can be so-called applied using the framework. You cannot just adopt AI just listening to the vendor solution. That doesn't work, especially for your case of the enterprise. But productivity maybe can, right? Subscribe another equivalent ChatGPT or Copilot. Alright, so let's go into the implementing AI ethics and governance framework, right? So typically is that we need to know what are the so-called guide available. Of course, this is a Singapore one. I think Malaysia also have the they got two guide as this morning discussion, right? So you need to make sure that you comply with that, because when you go offering this type of so-called AI to the wider audience, you need to know which one to protect and what is the implication or the legal implication, because everything is about data. Okay, if you're smart enough, you give them the AI. Don't limit the access. They can access all the confidential information in your organization, right? Including some of the restricted information. Yeah. And last but not least, on the foster collaboration and upskill. So basically, we need to look at the people, right? Our people basically talking about our existing staff, about reskilling, upskilling them, and retraining them, right? So of course, they got a strategy to raise AI skill based on the Gartner. First is that self-study, right? I think many free online course out there, right, that you can embrace. Okay, and then of course, if you have time, you're still young, or maybe you encourage your children, study AI lah. Okay, and of course, doing a research, right? They got many research paper, and interestingly, it's easily outdated. So you need to get the fundamental right. Once you get the fundamental right, you read the next one, you can roughly connect. Yeah, and of course, mentorship and coaching. If you can access to the mentor, join AI community or forum like this, and of course, experiment with AI tools, right, to see how it behaves. Right, to me, when I experiment, it's no longer like a human, but it's human without emotion. Okay, so some people who don't like to deal with human, deal with AI. I think you can click well. Okay, you can score them. You can basically give them extra work. Doesn't really matter. They will never fight back. Okay, because they are machine, not human. And of course, participate in AI project, and of course, construct AI business technology use cases. Yeah. Alright, so these are some of the information. I will not be going through the detail, but I think we are going to offer this course maybe end of the year or early next year. This is just released in May, but I can imagine this course need to be updated, refreshed every month. Okay, I mean 20% on the technology related sample, because all change very fast. The fundamentals still the same, right? Like just now you heard from Mr. Xu. You know how old is he? 30 years ago he studied university. 30 or 40 years ago? 40 years ago he studied the university. Some of us not even reaching the age of 40, right? So it's our great-grandfather. Okay? Alright, this is my last slide, right? You heard about this news? Yes, so many bad news, right? Is that true? Well, if this is true, the company is shrinking, but they keep hiring. So something not right somewhere, right? So this is something like in the typical organization behavior is that we need to refresh some of the employee are not at the right time, right competency and right job. Okay, so they need to so-called do this type of exercise. But I don't think because of the victim of AI, because they're still hiring massively, right? And of course, all this I think Microsoft, IBM, etc. And after I'm not sure whether you have seen these pictures on the right hand side. No, Alice fired in 2025, right? Because of the AI, blame AI, fire her, and next year get 5 times salary. How can we become like this? If ever happen, touchwood, not happening, but if happen, we want to be like that, isn't it? Can see the right side? This year, asked to leave, next year he hire back with a 5-time negotiated salary. What is the question mark? This is the answer. Embrace AI with EA. And this is my last deck, and just remember, AI is just another human being, so we need to make sure that we can control and tame that AI. If you are below that AI, I cannot help you. But I don't think we are that bad. It's created by human. It's not created by God. Right? So we should be able to be at par or higher. Okay? So with that, I think you should enjoy the rest of the session.